I've been building my own kingdom.
The tank going and forward, and boy, I'm sad the passing offense has been so bad. We paid Ridley 92 mil. He got the ball more in Jacksonville, but at least he came to Nashville and got the bag. The Titans are 1-4, it's tough to see. I'm afraid we gotta draft another QB. We crushed our hearts like Play-Doh. His claim to fame is Mayo. He threw for 95 against a bad D. The Titans are 1-4, and even still, it make it worse, cause we gotta play the Bills. I don't like our chances, I'm scared of Josh Allen, and I'm afraid we're gonna get killed. Titans are 1-4, and even still, it make it worse, cause we gotta play the Bills. I don't like our chances, I'm scared of Josh Allen, and I'm afraid we're gonna get killed. Titans are 1-4, and boy, I'm sad. The passing offense has been so bad. We paid Ridley 92 mil. He got the ball more in Jacksonville, but at least he came to Nashville and got the bag. The Titans are 1-4, it's tough to see. I'm afraid we gotta draft another QB. We crushed our hearts like Play-Doh. His claim to fame is Mayo. He threw for 95 against a bad D. The Titans are 1-4, and even still, it make it worse, cause we gotta play the Bills. I don't like our chances, I'm scared of Josh Allen, and I'm afraid we're gonna get killed. Boy, I'm so, but even still, it make it worse, cause we gotta play the Bills. I don't like our chances, I'm scared of Josh Allen, and I'm afraid we're gonna get killed.
You'll never come back, so I'm coming out of the dark. This facade is I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, I woke up feeling like it might be a good day to get it done. That's right. Oh, the stadium is just like my second house. Now I'm two-tone talking, they can't shut my mouth. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah. I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Two-Tone Talk by God Pod, episode 113. It's Friday afternoon, and I don't even know what to tell you today. First of all, if you're watching on YouTube and you had the luxury of hearing that song during the countdown, let me just say, I might have done a 1-week free trial of this app where you submit lyrics and AI makes it into a song. And I may be having too much fun with it. But those were my lyrics. It was just some random robot with AI singing it. Welcome to the Two-Tone Talk by God Pod. Good to see everybody today on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify, good to see you as well. Monday was a tough one. Monday was a tough episode because I don't remember a day where I've been more infuriated I probably can, but I was pretty I was pretty bad. And it's been a few days. It's Friday now. You may say, "Oh, well, surely you're in a better mood today," and I am. But I mean, I'm still just not happy at all. I am still so mad about what I saw last Sunday from the Tennessee Titans, and I've had a lot of time to think on it this week, as have you out there. And I truly, I don't even think, I don't even think this team is that bad as a whole. I think there are some good things happening on this team. I think there are a lot of teams in the NFL that would give anything to have Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and Tyler Boyd as their wide receivers. I think there are a lot of teams that could do a lot worse than Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears at running back. I think the offensive line is getting better. Defensively, yes, L'Jarius Sneed was awful on Sunday against the Colts, but I still think most every other team in the league would love to have him. Simmons and Sweat and Landry are playing well on the defensive line. Ernest Jones playing well at linebacker. You've got a rookie like Jarvis Brownlee playing well. There are good things on this team, okay? But at the end of the day, it's what I said Sunday. We do not have the answer at quarterback. And when you don't have the answer at quarterback, it's really, it doesn't matter what's going on, especially on offense. It doesn't matter what's going on elsewhere. If you don't have the answer at quarterback, then it's all for nothing. Doesn't matter if you paid Calvin Ridley $92 million. You have no doubt seen it by now. The 8 targets that Calvin Ridley got against the Colts, yes, he had the drop, which, yeah, you need to catch that. But most of those 8 targets were just laughable, not catchable at all. And, you know, Brian Callahan and the coaching staff, they can't just come out and say what they want. They can't just come out and be like, hey, he's playing very poorly. They can't do that. So they've got to just come out every week and say, well, he's doing some good things. He's getting there. But I'm telling you guys, if this week, I don't do film breakdowns, okay? But there are a lot of Titans content creators who do film breakdowns. And I've watched a few of those, and they all say the same thing. After watching the film and seeing how everything comes together, hey, everybody wants to say Brian Callahan needs to throw the ball downfield more. He tried. Everybody says, oh, you know, the Titans can't get any guys open. They did. They did get guys open. But when your quarterback either doesn't see it or is too scared to throw it or doesn't know what he's doing, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Offensive line's getting better. Good group of receivers. You've just got a bad quarterback right now. And that sucks because we hoped that this guy would be the answer. And I'm just telling you, even with a few days to, you know, there have been times in the past where maybe you give me a few days to think on it and maybe I start to come around. No, I'm still like, I can't, I think I'm out on the quarterback. I'm out. There's nothing else that, I mean, Brian Callahan said he knew going into that Colts game that it was going to be a conservative game plan offensively. He knew it. He knew we're going to run the ball a lot. He knew that. Against that Colts defense, that is maybe up until that Titans game was the worst in the league. Trevor Lawrence, who struggled all year, threw for nearly 400 against them. And your game plan coming in with 2 weeks to prepare was to just be conservative and run the ball. Now you may say, why? Why was that your game plan? Why was that the game plan? Don't you think that's an indictment on the quarterback and the faith they have in him? Don't you think that's an indictment on Will Levis that Brian Callahan, with 2 weeks to prepare, decided that the best thing to do against the Colts was to play it conservatively and run the ball? That ought to tell you everything you need to know right there. And I don't think that the Titans are a playoff team with Mason Rudolph, but I will tell you this. I was thinking the other day, just driving down the road, I said, you know what? I said, what would the Titans' record be if they had just started Mason Rudolph from the beginning? If they had come out the week before the season started and said, you know what, we're going with Mason Rudolph. If they had started Mason Rudolph, I'm sorry. I mean, it's hypothetical. There's no way to know for sure, but I think they would have beaten Chicago week 1. I really do. I know they would have beaten Miami because they did beat Miami with Mason Rudolph. And I think they would have beaten Indianapolis on Sunday. I'm not sure about the Jets. I know they wouldn't have beaten Green Bay, but I think you could argue the Titans would be 3-2 at least right now if they had started Mason Rudolph. Now, is it worth that? I don't know, because there's a reason that the Colts are going back to Anthony Richardson in spite of the fact that Joe Flacco has been great for them since he got in. They don't believe that they are a Super Bowl team with Joe Flacco, so they want to see what they've got with Anthony Richardson, and they feel like that's more important, and maybe they're right. I don't know. But for the Titans, it's just, if you had started Mason Rudolph from the beginning, you'd probably be at least 3-2 right now. That's the way I see it. And now you've got the Bills. The Titans are 1-4, and the Bills at Buffalo to make it even worse. Not that it would matter. If this game was in Nashville, that stadium would be Bills Mafia all the way through. What did the Titans got to do to win this game against the Bills? I mean, listen. I don't know. I mean, develop a good relationship with the Lord and hope that you find favor in his eyes. Realistically, it's the NFL and anything could happen. The Bills obviously made the trade for Amari Cooper, so that's going to be a new weapon. I don't know how involved he'll be, but he is going to play. The Titans, at this point, to think, I don't think they're going to just go out there and let Will Levis start airing it out, because against this Bills secondary, which is very good, I mean, I just don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to come out, and I mean, you already know what I'm about to say. They're going to come out and they're going to run the ball a lot because the Bills' run defense is their biggest weakness. So the Titans are going to come out and they're going to run the ball with Pollard, and Spears isn't playing, so it's primarily going to be Tony Pollard. And they're going to ask their defense to try and hold the Bills. And, the Titans are going to need to get some turnovers. I think they've gotten 2 turnovers on the year. The backwards pass against Miami, and then they picked off Joe Flacco last week. They're gonna have to get some turnovers, and they're gonna have to run the ball and ask Will Levis to do as little as possible. And that's where we are. That's where we are. Will Levis needs to be asked to do as little as possible, and just hope that you can churn out a 13-10 victory over the Bills if your defense plays unbelievable. That's the way you win. And quite frankly, I feel like this could be one of those, like, you remember that Monday night game in Buffalo a couple years ago when the Titans got slaughtered? I just hope this isn't one of those, because this has all the makings to be one of those. In Buffalo, Amari Cooper's debut, like, the Titans are 1-4 with the worst quarterback in the league. This has all the makings to be one of those beat downs, and that's what I'm afraid of. Because I don't think the Titans, I've seen a lot of people mentioning, oh, that Titans team that, could surprise you, that we've seen in years past. Those Titans teams that every time you count them out, they come out there and turn out a win. I don't think this Titans team has that. I hate to say this, but there are certain guys who do, but I think this Titans team as a whole, I don't know if they have that fight. This kind of game is where that Vrabel mentality would come into play. Like, this would be the situation where Vrabel would pull a rabbit out of a hat. This is what he was good at. On the road, in an impossible situation, and somehow the Titans win. Vrabel could do that pretty well. But then he would have his team go out and lose at home to the Panthers or something crazy. So I just don't think, I don't really see a path to victory here unless it's just one of those weird days, which is, it happens all the time. Some people are saying the NFL is due a big upset because there hasn't been many yet this season. And the Titans have had an interesting injury report this week. L'Jarius Sneed has not practiced. And I know he played bad on Sunday, but I don't think you have a chance to win this game without L'Jarius Sneed in there. I know he was not great, and people are mad at him right now, but you want Trey Avery in there? That's the alternative. You want Trey Avery in there? Because Cheeto Awuzie is still on IR. So, yeah, let's throw Trey Avery in the game. See if that doesn't... They'll hang 50 if we do that. So you need him. Tavondre Sweat was on the injury report, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. I think he's going to go. So, I don't know. It's just, I feel like this is the first game this season, because even when the Titans were bad, it was like, because of the situation with Miami, it was like, well, they should beat Miami. And because of the situation with Indianapolis, it was like, the Titans should probably win this game, even though they didn't. Even going back to the Green Bay game, it was like, well, they're starting Malik Willis, so you could make a strong case for the Titans in each game. But this is the first one where it's like, I just don't. This could be a tough one. This could be a tough one. And the fact that it's in Buffalo. And so when I look at the Titans, I hate to already be talking about draft and draft position, but, if they lose this one, I think it might be time to start talking about, all right, who's going to get in our way in that top 5, because there are some other bad teams too. And on that note, let's do the weekly Two-Tone Talk 32-1 NFL Power Rankings. There you see it. Whoops. There you go. The bottom 3. And this was a tough one because there are so many nominees to be in this bottom 3, because there are some bad teams in the NFL right now. But I just took the safe pick, and at number 32, I just went with the Panthers. They're the safest bet. There's nothing good happening in Carolina at all. And that, if you're looking ahead at the draft and the Titans trying to get up there and get Shador or whoever, Panthers could be a team that definitely get in the way of that if they're up there. At number 31, I had to go with the Cleveland Browns. What a dumpster fire the Browns are, 1-5. In a situation with the quarterback and the contract that is just miserable. And I don't know if the Browns are up there in the draft, I don't know what they're going to do. On one hand, it's like they need to just bite the bullet, cut ties with Watson, and move on. But on the other hand, it's like, how can you? You gave him the biggest contract I've ever seen. And rounding out the bottom 3, I just went with the Patriots. I think the Patriots, I like how Drake May looked on Sunday. We'll see if he can keep it up. But I think the Patriots overall are just not good at all. But there are a number of teams who could have made this bottom 3. Let's get into the 20s here. At number 29, I went with the Raiders. They don't have a starting quarterback on their roster. Devontae Adams is now gone. Other than Brock Bowers, there's just not a lot. And Max Crosby, and that we'll see about him, and maybe he could be traded somewhere. 28, I put the Titans. I mean, I said it earlier. I think as a whole, you could make the case that the Titans have good things going on. I mean, I think more so than the Raiders, the Patriots, the Browns, the Panthers. I think the Titans have areas of the team that are good. But when you don't have the right guy under center, it's all for nothing. Number 27, the Saints. I mean, the Saints just, they look absolutely atrocious. And the only reason I'm putting them ahead of some of these teams is because I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt that they had their top 2 receivers out last night and Taysom Hill's out, and they've got a number of important guys for them. But, I mean, I had hoped that Spencer Rattler could show you something, but last night he was terrible, and the Saints look completely lost, and Dennis Allen's seat getting hotter. 26, the Jags. I mean, I'd tell you how bad there are some teams in the league that the Jags would even be this high on the list at 1-5. The Jaguars, and speaking of hot seats, I mean, Doug Peterson's seat is, heating up by the moment. And Trevor, outside of his one performance against the Colts, but he had a lot of dropped passes. I mean, they just not good in Jacksonville right now. Number 25, the Dolphins. I mean, and the Dolphins were on a bye this week, but it's like if the Dolphins get Tua back, maybe they could be a little dangerous again. But overall, the Dolphins they seem like a shell of themselves. We'll see if they can kind of revitalize what they're doing when they come back from the bye. Number 24, the Giants. I mean, at the end of the day, Daniel Jones would probably be one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league, but he's just not able to consistently put it together, especially without Malik Neighbors. They're just struggling to score. They're struggling to get anything going offensively. Number 23, the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, I still think their defense is putrid. But you know what? Josh Downs and Michael Pittman, good. Those are some good receivers. They'll get Jonathan Taylor back. I think Anthony Richardson's going to be back this week. I think that'll make them worse. But, the Colts are fine, I guess. Number 22, Arizona. Arizona just took one on the chin Sunday. I mean, Arizona just very up and down, not consistent. They'll look like world beaters one week, and then they're horrible the next. And they played Green Bay on Sunday, who I think is just much better than them. But, the Cardinals, they're struggling. Number 21, the Rams. I'm still giving the Rams a little bit of a benefit of the doubt at 1-4 because they've had so many injuries, and Cooper Kupp's supposed to be back. So maybe they'll start to pick it up here as the season continues to go on. Still a big believer in Matt Stafford and Sean McVay. And so I think the Rams can still salvage their season. Remember, they started off tough last year, and then they got better. Going to the other side of the screen at number 20, it's the Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys got absolutely stomped, and they've been doing that a lot at home. I mean, Saints, Ravens, and now the Lions just absolutely came into Jerry World and obliterated them. And the Cowboys, they look terrible. I don't know what to make of them. They're 3-3, so technically they would be middle of the pack. But if you guys haven't heard the song that Cowboys fan made about them, the man, here we go again, this team ain't gonna never win. You need to go listen to it. It's great. Number 19, the Seahawks. As I said last week, life comes at you fast. The Seahawks were 3-0, and everybody was excited. And now they've lost 3 in a row, and now everybody's not excited. It's just a tale of 2 seasons already for them. I think the Seahawks are probably a good middle-of-the-pack team. They're tough, they're gritty, and that's about all you can say. I mean, they're about now looking like what I expected them to before the season. Number 18, the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos are 4-3. They're winning games. I'm just not a big believer in them at all. I think there have been so many instances this year where the Broncos were just the lesser of 2 evils. That's why they won, like last night. But Bo Nix, I think, was horrible last night. But again, lesser of 2 evils. The only thing you can say is he was better than Spencer Rattler. And the Broncos have a pretty good defense, but I'm not a big believer in them at all. Number 17, the Chargers. I mean, with the way the AFC's shaping out, a wild card spot may be just gift wrapped for the Chargers because there's just nobody else really stepping up. Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert. I think that might be enough to get him in right there. Number 16, the Jets. I didn't plan on having the Jets this high, but they make the trade for Devontae Adams. And so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and at least put them at 16. They're 2-4. I don't know how much of a difference Adams is going to make. I think they're better with him. How much better? I don't know. There's a lot of things that look out of whack with them, and their play caller is Todd, by God, Downting. And I will say, Monday against the Bills, I guess Todd called a decent game, but there was one time where the Jets were just driving down the field, had a good drive going, and then on 1st and 10, they just tried a flea flicker. I was like, there's Todd. There's the Todd, by God, Downting I love. Number 15, the Bengals. Bengals didn't look great, but they won, and I said last week when they were 1-4, I said they're going to win their next 4 games, and so they won the first one, and now this Sunday, spoiler alert, I think they're going to win the next one, and the Bengals will be in the mix. Number 14, the Steelers, making the swap to Russell Wilson. I don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. They're 4-2 with Fields. They're swapping. I don't know. We'll see. But the Steelers, they're winning. They're winning games more than they're losing, and maybe a wild card spot's gift wrapped for them too. I mean, my goodness. 13, the Bears. I mean, there's some people who still feel like the Bears are kind of fraudulent because all of their wins have come against teams that have like 1 win, 2 wins. So a lot of people are wondering what it would be like if they played a quality opponent. But for right now, I mean, they're 4-2. Caleb's better. Their defense has always been good, and they're starting to get cooking. So we'll see. Well, I am also curious to see how they would look against tougher competition. But they're 4-2. Number 12, the Eagles. Some people would say this is too high to have the Eagles. Nick Sirianni's a clown, but I mean, A.J. Brown's not. He was cooking on Sunday. Jalen Hurts has got his weapons back. I thought Hurts was better on Sunday. So I think the Eagles are still, the conversation has been about how goofy their coach is. But I still feel like the Eagles, they're what are they, 4-2, 3-2, so they're right there. Number 11, I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just missing out in the top 10. I still think the Bucs are very dangerous. I think the Bucs are very dangerous. Baker, like this guy, if he gets going, God help you, Mike Evans. I mean, the Bucs, I wouldn't want to play them on any week. They put up 50. Into the top 10 at number 10, I've got the Bills. I mean, I just thought that was a safe bet. Getting Amari Cooper in there. People are trying to say Josh Allen couldn't do it without a proper wide receiver 1. Get out of here. The Bills, good secondary, good defense. So I think the Bills are going to, they still belong up here at the top. Number 9, the Commanders. Took a loss to the Ravens on Sunday, but I still think the Commanders are very good. I still think Jaden Daniels is good. And even though they lost, I mean, they still looked the part. It's not like they went up against the Ravens and got beat 40-0. They hung in there. They lost by a touchdown. So if you're a Commanders fan, I don't really see any reason to feel discouraged. I mean, this was their biggest test of the season so far, and even though they lost, they hung in there. So I got them at number 9. At number 8, give me the Atlanta Falcons. I do have some questions about the Falcons' defense, but, I mean, they're getting it together. Sneaky good group of weapons. Kirk Cousins has been playing well, very clutch. And they did what they needed to do last Sunday, and that is beat the Panthers by a good few possessions. So, the Falcons stay at the top 10. Number 7, the 49ers. I know they're 3-3 again. Haven't gotten off to the hottest start, but I still think the 49ers they have such a good roster. They are, they're just, I think second half of the season is going to be a really strong one for them. And I think they'll prove that they will still belong up there. Number 6, Houston. Houston, I mean, they did what they needed to do. They're 5-1. They beat the Patriots. Not the same as the Bears, but I mean, they beat the Bills last week. I just still think the Texans, they got a tough test coming up on Sunday against Green Bay. That'll probably be a good game. Stroud's great. Nico Collins has been out, right? So I think the Texans should cruise to the AFC South. I mean, just the Colts, Jags, Titans, like I said, they may clinch that division in week 6. Or excuse me, week 9 or something. We've already passed week 6. Number 5, the Packers. I think the Packers have come on real strong these last couple of weeks. I mean, just put a whooping on Arizona. Jordan Love looked great. Their roster is so good. Matt LaFleur, I think, is one of the better coaches in the NFL. I think the Packers, they're cooking now. Number 4, the Chiefs. They were off this week, but they're 5-0. Still think they're going to make a trade for a wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins, possibly. Just because of Mahomes alone, they're always going to be up here. And again, they're 5-0. Everybody's talking about what's wrong with the Chiefs. I don't know. They're 5-0. Is anything wrong with them? Number 3, the Vikings. They were also off this week. I'm still waiting on this thing to bottom out with the Vikings. I still feel like it's not going to last. I really do. I like the Vikings. I've been pleasantly surprised by them, but with the Packers in that division and with the Lions in that division and with the Bears in that division, that NFC North is by far the best division in the game right now. I still feel like the Vikings are going to bottom out at some point. Number 2, the Ravens. I mean, Derrick Henry is just playing at such a high level for them. They're talking about him possibly as the MVP of the league. So twist the knife a little deeper for Titans fans. But Lamar's playing great. We'll see if it lasts late into the year, but I mean, right now, the Ravens are cooking. I think they're as hot as any team in the league. And at number 1, I just went with the Lions. I mean, I had them at number 1 last week, and then they go to Dallas and just slaughter the Cowboys. I still think Detroit is the best team in the league. My pick to win the Super Bowl this year, I think Detroit is still number 1. Number 1. Let's make some picks for this weekend. Week 7, obviously, the Broncos over the Saints last night in just an awful game. London on Sunday morning, it is the Patriots and the Jaguars. London may stop asking the NFL to come to town if this is the games they're going to give them. The Patriots and the Jaguars. Honestly, Drake May's second start and making all that travel over there, I'm going to go with the Jaguars to win this one. I think it'll be ugly. I got, the Jaguars will beat them by a couple of possessions. But I think this game, I think this game will be at 8:30 in the morning here in the States. I think a lot of people are just not going to bother waking up to watch this. I think the Jaguars, and let me know in the YouTube chat your pick for all of these games. But I'm going with the Jaguars to beat the Patriots in London. Drake May's second start in London, I don't think. Texans, Packers in Green Bay. I am going to go with the Packers to win this game. I just think the Packers are rolling. They're at home. Jordan Love just getting better and better. I do think the Packers have one of the better rosters in the league. That home field advantage, I think, is going to play a part. I got the Packers beating the Texans. Eagles, Giants. I got to go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles win this one. I just don't think, I don't know if Malik Neighbors is back this week. I don't know if we've heard that, but I think the Eagles absolutely have the better team here. Jalen Hurts, I trust him a lot more than I do Daniel Jones. And so I think the Eagles, with all of their complement of weapons back, I think the Eagles should win this one. Lions, Vikings. You want to talk about a big game. And this is another test for just how real Minnesota is. Coming off of the bye, I'm going with the Lions. I think this is the game where the Vikings kind of come back down to earth a little bit. I'm not saying the Vikings are not going to make the playoffs. But I think Detroit is going to remind them whose division this is. And I got the Lions beating the Vikings. It is in Minnesota, and the Vikings are a 1.5-point favorite in this game. But I'm going with the Lions. Seahawks, Falcons. I could see this one being close, but I'm going with the Falcons. I mean, Seahawks just on a 3-game skid, so it feels like they're due for something good to happen. I think Geno will find success against Falcons defense, but ultimately, I just think the Falcons are getting momentum. They're rolling. The Seahawks have been losing momentum. So I'm going with the Falcons. Bengals, Browns. I mean, as I said, I'm going with the Bengals. I think, the Bengals win this. Now all of a sudden they're 3-4. They're getting it rolling. I think, yeah, I think the Browns are toast. Absolutely toast. I got the Bengals. Dolphins, Colts. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna have to go with the Colts. I think, the Dolphins coming off of a bye with Snoop Huntley. I mean, the only way I can see the Dolphins winning is if they just do some stuff with Snoop running and getting Tyreek Hill involved in the run game, because I don't trust Snoop to throw it. But I'm going with the Colts to win this one. In an ugly game, but I got the Colts. Panthers, Commanders. Give me the Commanders on a rebound win in Washington. Like I said, they lost to Baltimore last week, but they put in a good showing. This game's in Washington against what I believe to be the worst team in the league in Carolina. I got the Commanders with the win there. Raiders, Rams. Give me the Rams coming off of a bye. The Raiders are just in shambles. Rams are a little healthier. They're getting Cooper Kupp back. Game's in LA. Give me the Rams. I feel confident the Rams can win that one. Chiefs, 49ers. How about a Super Bowl rematch right there? I'm going to go with the 49ers. In San Francisco. Probably one of the tougher tests that the Chiefs have had in a few weeks. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. I think this will be the moment where everybody realizes the 49ers are back. They're good. And this will be what prompts the Chiefs to go out and make a big trade for a wide receiver, I think. I got the 49ers winning. 49ers a 2-point favorite there. Sunday night, the debut of Davante Adams in New York, and the debut of Russell Wilson as the starter in Pittsburgh. It's the Jets and Steelers in Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with the Jets. I'm going to go with the Jets to win this game. I think we will see Davante Adams play well. I think people have forgotten how good Davante Adams is. Like, when he was with Green Bay, he was one of the top 3 receivers in the league. Then he went to the Raiders, and it's just not been the same. He is older now, but I think you will see Davante Adams get a touchdown in this game. And I think Russell Wilson's going to struggle in his first start. Give me the Jets. Monday night, it's a doubleheader. Chargers, Cardinals. That's a tough one. I'll go with Arizona. It's in Arizona on Monday night. I'm going to say you get one of those random Kyler Murray great performances that he randomly comes out with. I'm going to say they find some success there and the Cardinals beat the Chargers on Monday night. And also on Monday night, it's the Ravens and the Bucks. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good game. In Tampa Bay, I've got to go with the Ravens. I think the Ravens are just cooking right now. I think the Ravens look good. Derek looks good. Lamar looks good. And I think it'll be close. I think the Bucks are a good team too. But I got the Ravens on Monday night. And last but not least, the Titans and the Bills. Guys, I'm going with the Bills. I'm never going to just come on here and pick the Titans just to pick the Titans. I'm not just going to come on here and be a homer. I think the Bills are going to win. And not in a reverse psychology kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Not in a, like against the Dolphins and Colts, it was like, oh, I'm going to pick the other team just reverse psychology. No, I just think the Bills are going to win. I think, the Titans, I think their defense can keep it close. I'm hoping Snead plays. I think the defense can keep it close, but Will Levis in Buffalo, that just has disaster written all over it. Yikes. I'm just trying to picture him against that secondary in that stadium with that crowd. And it gives me knots in my stomach because of what could happen. But I'd love nothing more than to be wrong. I'd love nothing more than to be wrong. But I do think the Bills are going to win this game. Just because they have Josh Allen and we have Will Levis. What do you want me to tell you? I don't know. Sorry to end the podcast on a down note, but that is the way that it's going to be today. I will be back on Monday to talk about whatever happens on Sunday. And, hey, I'd love nothing more than to come back here and eat crow. I'd love nothing more than to come back here and say I was wrong and the Titans pulled an upset. We'll see. I'll be back Monday at 1 Eastern, noon Central. Everybody enjoy a good weekend of football. And tighten up, everybody. Have a good weekend. This is Two-Tone Talk by God Pod, where we're staying way too high on the wins, way too low on the losses. God bless you, everybody. Tighten up. Bye.